Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Taylor. Hope everyone is keeping healthy and safe and doing all their classwork even though you're doing it at home. So today I'm going to read to you a book about one of my favorite animals that I like to visit, either going to the zoo or to the aquarium. But before we do that, I want to talk about birds. So when I say birds, what are the first things that come to mind? I'll give you a couple of seconds. So think about, about 3 things about birds. Okay, you got them? All right. So when I think about birds, I think about they have feathers, they have wings, they lay eggs. What else? Oh, they have beaks instead of mouths. And oh yeah, you see them all the time flying around. Well, if you thought of those things, we were almost 100% correct, because guess what? Not all birds can fly. And there are over 10,000, yes, you heard me, 10,000 different types or species. That means types of birds in the world. And 40 types or species cannot fly. Wow, that's something. And you know something else? An ostrich is the largest bird in the world, and it lays the largest eggs, and it is the fastest, and it has a maximum running speed of 97 kilometers per hour. Wow, that's fast. And let's see, what else? Oh, chickens. Well, we all know chickens, right? Well, that's the most popular bird because most people all, know about chickens. I don't know if you know about this one. There's only one type of bird, only one type of species that can fly backwards. Do you know what kind of bird that is? I didn't know. It's called the hummingbird. Wow, that's interesting. Well, one of the most popular birds that doesn't fly is one of my favorite, and that is the penguin. So penguins can't fly. So I'm going to read a story about 2 penguins that are friends. So let's read about them. There they are. They're not flying, but they're swimming, having lots of fun. Once there were 2 little penguin chicks. Their eggs had hatched on the same day, and they knew each other's names, Quentin and Billy. So they hatched on the same day. That means that they have the same birthday. That's cool. When they were baby chicks, they played together. They played peekaboo and called each other silly names like Tintin and Chilly Billy. So there they are. We have Quentin and Billy. As young chicks grew up, their games changed. Billy liked playing hide and seek, but it was a bit rough for Quentin. Quentin liked building with ice bricks, but it was too dull for Billy. They did, however, make a den together once. A den was like an igloo. You see, the 2 little penguins were quite different. So even though they looked the same, they liked different things. So they had different hobbies, but they were still friends. Quentin liked knowing things, like what all the fish were called, how many different types of snow there were, and best of all, how far away the stars were. Billy loved doing things like skating down steep slopes, hurling snowballs, and doing belly flops along the ice. In fact, Billy was always getting into trouble. Uh-oh. See, here we have the learner, and here we have Billy. He likes doing things. This was especially true at school. You see, Billy just couldn't sit still. He tried being good, but he always ended up getting into trouble. "Sit still, Billy," his teacher was forever saying. "How are you ever going to look after an egg when you're older if you can't learn to sit still?" One particular morning, Billy fidgeted so much that the teacher scolded him again. See? They're supposed to be sitting learning, but he just kept on moving, couldn't sit still. At lunchtime, Quentin couldn't find Billy, so he ate his lunch alone. He was gazing at the clouds when some gulls flew past. That's a seagull. They're called gulls for short. "Hello," squawked one gull. "What are you looking at?" "I'm looking at the clouds," replied Quentin. "I think we're in for a snowstorm." "A snowstorm?" squawked the gull. "Yes," said Quentin. "It's not good weather for birds." "How would you know?" asked the other gull. "You're not a real bird." "I am a real bird," said Quentin. "I have feathers and a beak, and I hatched from an egg." "Ah," squawked the gull, "but you can't fly, can you?" Before Quentin could think of a reply, the gull had swooped down and stolen his lunch. That wasn't very nice. Quentin was going to have this fish for lunch, and the seagull swooped down and stole it from him. Oh my goodness, that wasn't very nice at all. That night, Quentin couldn't sleep. He went to sit on his favorite rock and gazed up at the sky. Through a tiny gap in the clouds, he could see some stars twinkling. "I'll never be able to reach you," he told the stars quietly, "because I'm a bird that can't fly." Then he heard the sound of a pebble being thrown into the water. "Who's there?" asked Quentin. "It's me, Billy," Billy replied. "Oh, you couldn't sleep either?" asked Quentin. "I'm going away," said Billy. "I'm fed up with getting into trouble." "I wouldn't do that if I were you," said Quentin. "I think we're in for a snowstorm." But there was no reply. Billy was gone. Wow. See, they were looking up at the sky, and then all of a sudden, Billy just took off. I hope he's careful. Quentin was right. The next day, there was the most terrific snowstorm. You could barely see your flipper in front of your eyes. Everyone huddled together for warmth. All day the wind howled and the snow fell. That evening, Quentin heard a voice calling, "Billy, Billy." It was Billy's mom. "Have you seen Billy?" No one knew where he could be, except for Quentin. See, they're all keeping warm. And there's Billy's mom. She looked kind of sad. I wonder if Quentin's going to tell her. Quentin set off right away. It was dark, but Quentin found his way by looking at the stars. At last, he came to the den that he and Billy had built when they were young chicks. "Billy, are you there?" asked Quentin. "Yes," shivered Billy. "Your mom's worried about you," said Quentin. "Is she?" asked Billy. "Okay, I'll come home." Because he does look kind of cold in that igloo or den. I'm glad he's going to come home. The two friends walked home together. "You were right about the snowstorm," said Billy. Quentin told Billy about the gulls. "Of course we're real birds," said Billy. "We just swim instead of fly." "I'm not sure I'll be able to swim," said Quentin. "Wait until we start swimming lessons," said Billy. "It's going to be great." Okay, so they're the two. They're walking home. So glad Billy decided to go home. Quentin didn't have to wait very long. That week at school, they practiced lining up, hopping, skimming, and twisting on the ice. Billy had a great time and didn't get into trouble once. In fact, the teacher said, "Well done, Billy," several times. Because remember, Billy loves doing things. So he was a champ at doing all these things. When it was time to take their first dive, Quentin wasn't looking forward to it. "Don't worry," said Billy. "It's going to be great." Billy leapt into the water, making a huge splash. Quentin stood at the edge of the rock and gazed into the water. So there's Billy. He's in the water already. Quentin, he's having second thoughts. I don't think he wants to go in. You think he's gonna? I don't know. Just then, Billy shot back out of the water onto the ice. "Wow, Tintin," he said. "You won't believe the amazing fish and weird stuff that there's down there." "Really?" asked Quentin. "Yes. I don't know any of the names," said Billy, "but you will." "Oh, but I don't think I can," started Quentin. But it was too late. Billy took a hold of his flipper, and together they splashed into the sea. Quentin flew under the water, and Billy was right. What an amazing sight. So look at that. They might not know how to fly, but they could swim. And together, they swam, saw all the amazing fish, and they were very, very happy. The end. Okay, boys and girls. So that's one of my favorite animals. What's one of yours? Think about it. Why don't you draw a picture and tell a little story about it? And I'm sure Miss Hammernick and I would love to hear about it. So maybe Mom or Dad could video you and send to Miss Hammernick. Okay, boys and girls, you have a great day, the rest of the week, and I miss you and can't wait to see your favorite animal and see what you say about him or her. Okay, boys and girls, take care. Love you.